there, that's probably the campaigns that you need to be running. So
Yeah.
I now have a saying, well, I don't actually spend any time creating content at all. I don't know if you've heard me say this at all yet, but a lot of people tell you to document your journey, and that's the way to do it. So do a post showing you the progress of how things are going, telling the good
I'm
stuff.
just making notes.
Yes, okay. I've got this recorded, by the way, so I'll send you the recording as well.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you.
But a lot of people document, and they'll tell you the good stuff and the bad stuff. And what normally happens is, this is tends to be the way that people do it. They'll either take some photos as they go, and they'll collect the photos up and they'll use that for the post, or they'll go and visit and go and do a viewing, or they'll do some phone calls, or they'll take some kind of action, and then they'll pick their phone up and do this awkward selfie posed video trying to tell people what it is. Now, the issue is with that, and this is where there's a big confusion in the industry, because they've taken it from, there's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk that talks about documentation. And if you ever hear anybody talking to you about documenting your journey, they've taken his concept. He was the one that really made it and broke the bubble. Now, they've taken that and they've completely misunderstood what it means. So what he actually means is, and the easiest way to never have to create content again, is to record everything.
Okay.
So right now, just to show you, I have this recording on the computer, on the Zoom call, and then I have my phone, which is also recording, which is paused up against my laptop. So because I'm giving advice here, because I've got this strategy course, the reason I do them is because at some point I may say something that's half decent, and I could actually probably put it online, right? Now, as an investor,
pretty decent so far.
as an investor, what you've got to try and do is, so as someone that's looking to try and find high net worth individuals, you've got to put yourself in their shoes and go, what's actually going to grab my attention? What am I actually going to find interesting to watch? And what they're really looking for are a mixture of one or two things. And it's two things. It's credibility and knowledge. That's literally it. Credibility, seeing you taking action, and knowledge where you're making smart decisions and people rely on you for information to help them. So a lot of people don't think they should be providing any sort of property education or tips on their profiles because they don't coach property. However, it's not the fact that you're going to be coaching, it's the positioning element of, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the way that we do it is in the form of actually recording everything that we do. So if you're having a phone call with a letting agent or a vendor, or you're going to a viewing, I literally record any conversation that I have, because normally conversations where it normally happens, it's where you normally get the best info. So my profile, to give you an example, first took off when I did a live video, and it doesn't have to be live. I could have pre-recorded it, but I did it live. I was like, I'm just going to do some calls to agents, and I'm going to do it live. And I'm just going to show people, I did it on speaker, I was just going to show people how easy it is just to get told no, and no, and no, and no, and no, and no, and no. And then suddenly someone said, oh, actually, yeah, we do company let. This is how we work it. I was like, cool, well, what needs to happen for us to be able to get through the door? How can we make the contracts work? And suddenly I had a deal and it was about a 20-minute live, but then we had like 120 people watching. Just me getting rejected over and over and over again. And that bit of content then got shared because no one had seen it before. And all I'd done, I hadn't created anything. I just pressed the record button and then went about my day.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get that element to your documentation, we had 2 investor inquiries that offered, it wasn't huge amounts of money. It was like 2 30,000 investments. They bought 3 rent-to-rent units from us, but all from content I didn't have to spend time thinking about, didn't have to edit, didn't have to change, didn't have to post it anywhere. I just did a live onto my Instagram profile, and then I had direct messages coming in. So what I now do with everything is I actually don't train people on social media properly anymore. Like, I don't really do it. It's not a focus of mine. I help give advice in this sense, but for the whole point of positioning my brand. What that then does is that then gets other people aware of what it is that I do. They will normally tell somebody that's interested then in finding out what I really do, and that's the agency that sits behind it. So where we actually manage it for other people. And this is what I'm trying to get at here, is that there's normally 3 things I'm going to tell you to look at, and that will then basically give you what you need to be able to go off and actually use your social media profiles efficiently.
Okay.
The first thing that you need to do is understand the concept or the one thing that you're using your social media profiles for. So if it's going to be to get high net worth individuals, you need to start thinking to yourself, okay, a high net worth individual, they are looking for experience, they're looking for knowledge, credibility, and they're looking for someone that's actually taking action right now and knows what on earth's going on in this market, because they've not got the time to look into it.
Yeah.
So you need to be the figure that's taking the action. So setting yourself some time to do some research into the market and what's actually happening, and recording it as you're doing it, and then giving an update as you're going. So basically saying to yourself, look, most people are out there at the moment just finding deals. However, what makes us stand out is that we're actually looking at the market right now, looking at the trends of what's going on with house prices in different areas to understand where the best place is to invest. Have you ever thought about doing this? Because this is what I'm doing right now. I spend 20 minutes doing it, but this is what we're doing before we start picking up the phone to the agents. Half an hour later, you then put it down again. Now I'm calling vendors. Now I'm calling agents. We're actually looking here and we're speaking to them. Now, if you're looking to do this sort of thing, this is the sort of stuff that you can hear me saying from this right here. More positioning. Then you suddenly get a yes. It's actually a property that's going to work. Now I need to quickly do my numbers on it to make sure I'm ready to go and view. Quickly, this is how we stack our numbers. If you're looking to do it, you just need to know these 3 to 4 key things for you to be able to know if it's a deal or not. Now we're actually at the viewing. Now, when you're at the viewing, what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for this, I'm looking for Japanese knotweed, I'm looking for damp, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. These are the sorts of things as an investor you need to be looking at. Now, when it comes to then costing all the build of works, the refurb work and all this sort of thing, one of the things now we're looking at is how much money we're going to need to raise. And this is where the sweet spot comes in, because that one phrase is for this deal here, you're not pitching anything, you're just documenting. This deal here, I'm not going to tell you the address, obviously, but we're going to need £30,000 to be able to get this. And looking at the numbers, it's probably going to generate a nice 15% return on the money, and it's going to provide a nice, tidy investment. So what I now do is I gather all this information, I put it in a nice pack, and I send it out to my investor database, capturing everything.
Yeah.
That whole process, if you can capture it, you can imagine as an investor, you're thinking, oh, okay. Right, how do I get on that investor database? Because that sounds like a great deal and I want it. And that's how you actually get people interested and know what it is that you do and how good you are without actually telling them directly, because your content is actually just showing what you're doing day to day. And you know where they say you can't pitch a deal online? You get around it completely because you're not pitching a deal. You're just putting your numbers out there and they can start to see the sort of stuff that you're getting. Yeah. And again, this process, every single person that I've done it with, they try it for like 2 weeks and they're literally blown away with, it's so flipping easy. It's so easy. I've never known it. And it does become almost unfair when you apply it, because you get that one message into your inbox and you're like, did that really just happen? Like, from no strategy, no planning, no nothing, just going about your day the way that you do it. And the thing that I guess that makes our stuff so good is the fact that we literally just don't complicate anything. We just keep it so simple. I mean, all you got to do is just hit that recording. That's it.